Yeah, so just want to quickly go ahead and jump right into it. Um, we was talking about the Aboriginal history of Sumter County, Alabama, right? That you seen where my folks are from, Livingston to be exact, with Henry Chula down there in Mobile County, by Washington County on the coast. So I just wanted to pick up, and I think I started right where we was about to get into the historical part, kind of discuss like the key words that I used, which was Livingston, Sumter County, and now we're going to get into this. This is going to be Sumter County, but reservations, because my main research topic, for that goes along with my genealogy is finding out the exact reservation that my Indian ancestor is from. Okay. So with all the documents that I have, it sums up to be Choctaw, right? But this journey, is to understand the area in which our people, my family, come from. Not just Mississippi, but even before, predating that, which our lineage starts, and Mississippi goes, comes from Alabama, to be exact. So let me go ahead and post the link in the, so that we'll already have. I think I posted it in the last. Let's see. It should have. And it didn't go. So give me 1 second. I should have already had this all together. Like, yo. One second. I don't even know how you get to that part right there. Alright, so we're gonna find it. Because I want to, what I'm saying? I used to post the sources all the time. Here we go. Share, copy. Because the one I'm going through is going to be the actual PDF. So let me go ahead and put that in the chat for you. So those of you wanting, there you go. Hopefully that takes you straight to it. Maybe you can copy and paste it to the side. If not, it's going to be in the description if you don't actually see it in the chat. Right, so let me get right to it. I'm surprised my baby letting me talk. She's right here on my chest, and she's just knocked out. So I'm gonna try to make this short as possible. Just get through it as quick as possible. Discussing the Aboriginal history of Sumter County, Alabama. Right. So let me go ahead and share my page. There we go. So why did I call it Aboriginal history? Because that's what it says. It says it. So, and this is what we're talking about. We're talking about the original people here in this particular area before the European got here. Right? So Aboriginal history, and we're talking about Sumter County on this right here. All right. So the Indians inhabiting the county belonged to the Choctaw tribe. About the time of the American Revolution, this tribe began to expand from their original habitat. Therefore, the settlements in Sumter County were modern in their origin. There were four main settlements or towns. The first known was Kilby Town, that was situated on Kilby Creek, about 300 yards from this influx into Baca. Kilby, as pronounced by the whites, is somewhat worn down and corrupted from the Choctaw Koyala. I have no clue how to pronounce this, but literally translated "panther there killed." The Choctaw name of the second town was not known, but its people were called the Pickbone Indians. The Pickbone Indians. Y'all heard that before? The Pickbone Indians. Okay, this name was given them on the account of their adhering to the ancient Choctaw bone picking funeral ceremonies. Okay, so often detailed by writers on Southern Indians. This town was about 6 miles from Kilby Town on the headwaters of Factory Creek. The fourth town was situated on both sides of Bucket Creek, about scroll up 8 miles from Gainesville. Alamucha, the fourth town, was situated in Section 10, Township 6, Range 18, right east 1 mile from the Alamucha Creek, and was more of an Indian winter camp than a town. So these camp, and you got camp meetings where, and we still practice this culture today in my family, right? I got a side that practice, family reunions, which is pretty much the same thing, where all the related clans, the tribes, those, you might not have the same surname, but you come from a direct ancestor and or around that ancestor, family wise, because they probably had siblings, and so over 4 to 6 generations of families, you can have a camp meeting and expect, hundreds of people to show up. So this was ceremonial, still being practiced today amongst our families, camp meetings. All right, so every winter, great number of Choctaw families from far and near would erect their shelters at this camp. The women would spend their time in the market and making baskets, while the men made blowguns and hunted wild game, including the deer, bear, and turkey. There, they brought corn for their bread and hominy with them. These Choctaw villages were in the district of Mingo, Washilatubi, and a great place of resort with them was Gaines and Glover's store or factory, where they traded and trafficked their own Indian wares. I don't even know if I said the wares. And had great law plays. The sub-chief, Timilichi, was the most noted of the Sumter County chiefs. I never heard of him before, Timilichi. And he lived near the Baca village, where there is a ford, still known to the Timilichi's Ford. He was a large, fine-looking man, very athletic, the best ball player among his people, good-natured, kind-hearted, but lazy and a great drunkard. He remained on his reservation for several years after the rest of the people had immigrated west, probably to Oklahoma somewhere, right? Because when we gave up our lands here, Mississippi, Alabama, parts of Alabama, they shipped them all, even Alabama, Georgia, yeah. They shipped them all over to, not all of them, but, they had their trailers to Oklahoma, right? Dealing with the 5 civilized tribes. Anyway, Governor John A. Winston bought his reservation. Okay, so I'm gonna have to look into this Governor John Winston reservation, Timilichi's, these towns right here, because I'm looking for these old reservations that no longer exist, right? And I'm going to travel there, and we're going to explore. First we'll start with the county. We're gonna go check out Sumter County. We're gonna go to Livingston and go to their courthouse records and see we can dig up. The Choctaws of Sumter County, with but few exceptions, immigrated into the fall of 1831. All right, so you have the session. I think it's in 1830. I'm going to speak on that, I won't be exact when I say it, but they immigrated because of the treaty, right, of giving up the land, the land cessions, stuff like that. On Mrs. M.F. Mitchell's plantation, okay, so these little hints that, so you got to be in the books to get it. Do you do diligence if you're looking and you find yourself stuck, get in them books, talk to your elders, maybe they help you out. So just for a second, just want to check. All right. All of the Choctaws rendezvous on the hill just before the immigration. Here they remained for 3 days, lifting their voices and wailing, lamentation, performing their religious rites. And our camp meetings last about a week. And, the cries or whatever, you had the church services, you got going to the grave sites, paying homage, things of that nature. We still practice that today. Here they remain, I'm going to say that probably all loud. Took their last look over the beautiful country, which they were to leave forever. Evidences of Choctaw occupancy are met with the number of points in the county and several crossing places on Tongue Beaver. Let's see, we're going to be right up in, are identifiable to the present day. When passing through the territory in 1540, DeSoto, by him, we talked about him, found the eastern side of the Tongue being thickly settled, and investigations in recent years have proven that this section too enjoyed the same distinction. Maybe they're saying that the other side looked like the other side. Mr. Clarence B. Moore in 1901. So look, we don't have to go back that far. My great-great-grandmother, Larsina Lewis, was born in 1900, right? So everything really, you know what? A good tip that you got to keep in mind, and it kind of going to force you to go up there and start looking at various records, is that when you at least for me, run into one of them walls with the ancestors and like some of the information you can't just, you can't get. You gotta head up to that county. Well, we'll look at the county records, not necessarily the census, because the census is only gonna tell you so much. So whatever, when you get into those death records, birth records, those vital statistics, you get into that, and you'll find out more information, right? So in 1901, actually in 1908 in Alabama, you're not going to find any vital statistics in Alabama. Well, I'm going to speak for Sumter County. Maybe they go, like, if that's a state thing, state government thing, federal thing, right? And they didn't keep. They weren't required to keep, and put it like that. And saying they weren't required to keep birth records, death records until 1908. So anything before that is going to be kind of hard. You might have to look towards your marriage license and stuff like that, which can go a little bit further than some of the birth certificates. All right. That's what I ran into, trying to figure this thing out. So, B. Moore in 1901 explored burial mounds on the Tombigbee River as follows. 3 miles, 1.5 miles southwest of the Simmons Landing. More than 1 dozen on Cedar Ridge Tree, and 1/2 mile southwest of Summers Landing and near West Pace Landing. See, I wonder what these landings at the Simmons, 3 miles near Muskogee Landing on Robert W. Larkin's property. All right, mound in woods between Surfernachie Creek and River, 1.25 miles below Muskogee. The micellary. Oh man, the micellary. Let me get out the word. Fuck that word. Miles near Hillman's Landings and Byron's. Choctaw crossing placements were at Black Bluff. Okay, and I'm gonna one of these next bills coming up. I'm gonna prove our existence around these Black Bluffs. All right. Fort Tumbigme and at Roy. So many years ago, 1 mile southeast of the mouth of Kilpie Creek could have been a circular embankment 6 feet high, about 100 yards in the diameter. It's a football field, yo. 60 feet northwest of the enclosure was a mile, 30 feet northeast, a large overflowing spring, about 8 feet high. So let's talk about the later history and settlement. Its first white settlers mostly well to purchase their land when the territory acquired by the Treaty of Dancing Rabbit Creek came into the market in 1831. Okay, so 1831, Dancing Rabbit Creek, we give up the land, right? They go, you know what I'm saying, out west of the Mississippi to Oklahoma, all right? They were mainly from the South Atlantic states, mainly coming from the central and eastern North Carolina, Gainesville, Jones Bluff, Altamira, Demopolis, and Bluffport. Got a family in Bluffport. Were the early settlements. We got. Let me go ahead and show it, man. We gotta go ahead and show it. Ancestry. We're gonna put it up on Ancestry. We're gonna put it up on Ancestry. What that say? Bluffport, Sumter, Alabama. All right. So, all right. They were early settlements. In 1831, Joseph and Black John Greenless and the Culverts settled near Tunnels Creek. In the same year, a settlement was made on Barker Creek by Mr. Shoemaker, and the following year, Captain Alicia Lacey made a settlement near a ford on the same creek, which is still known as Lacey's. Nathan Jordan and Mr. Lovelady also settled in Barkerville near the state line. Sumterville was settled in 1832 by Johnny Brown and a party of immigrants, among whom were captains as well. Nathan and Edward Averson. In the same year, the Russians, David Blacksmith, Gillespie Sr. settled near Belmont. About the same time as the Ramsey, Weems, Capers. They're telling everybody coming through this thing. So, Matthew LaBrose, who had an Indian wife, was one of the first settlers of Jones Bluff. Okay, the Moore settled below Livingston on Cedar Creek, a letter opening store, Cameron, a Scotsman, born in 1796 on the coast of North Carolina, 30 years after his parents had landed from the Highlands of Scotland. Bought a large part of the Indian town of Alamucha, okay, on Alamucha Creek. He was a practical surveyor and spent much of his time running and establishing government lines. So he married Elizabeth Jane Donald, Lord Peachtree. Other settlers of Alamucha and its vicinity were, you know what I'm saying, got some brag up in there. James Matthews, immigrants from North Carolina in 1833 or 1834 settled the country around Warsaw, which was first called Jamestown. Didn't know that. Bluffport and the vicinity was settled about 1834. Okay, growing out. The nearest ferry was at Demopolis in Marengo County. Other early settlers were the Jibs. The first settlers of Sumter County found a wealthy free Negro family. Hold up. You gotta zoom in on this one, fam. The first settlers of Sumter County found a wealthy free Negro family. Yo, only Negro. Let's see here. This is my first time going through this, man. So, you know what I'm saying? We learned it together. This is crazy. So, what we talk about? Let's see. Having living Negro slaves, right? Living on Factory Creek. Sally Tom was the widow of an Indian who had secured a large tract of land under the stipulations of the Treaty of Dancing Rabbit. Was the head of the family. So even though it was a Negro family, right? Wealthy free Negro family who owned slaves, right? Sally Tom, the widow of the Indian. So, you know, this was some of this mixed ancestry, I guess. She had 7 sons and 2 married daughters. None of the family followed the Indians west, okay? Jack Tom, one of the sons, was a well-educated man. So they would represent the people who stayed. Not everybody was on the Trail of Tears, right? So Jack Tom, one of the sons, was a well-educated man. After the death of his mother, he sold 15 and 20 slaves to Major John C. Whitsitt and about 6,000 acres of land to Mr. Jerry Brown. Tom's Creek and tributary of Factory Creek commemorates the name of this early free Negro family. Yo, shout out to my Negroes, my niggas. So let's see. You know, I'm probably just gonna wrap that up because I do want to get into. Let's see, because I really want to learn about some reservations. It might be my next. Let's see. I wanted to, you know what I'm saying, learn a little bit more about these reservations that was set up. You know, I do got another document that talks about it, but I haven't. I think I gotta go on microfilm some shit. Let's see. All right, so these are pretty much. Let's see. So that's Sumter County. What else we got with Sumter County? Tom Bigby Fort, a French fortified post on the Tom Bigby River. at what is now Jones Bluff in Sumter County, near where the Great Southern Railroad crosses. And them railroads are important too. It could paint the picture a little bit clearer. Let's see. York. Shout out to York. West Central. Let's see. I think that's the beginning part. Yeah. So let's look up reservations. Not preservation. The Tennessee River. The Chickasaws. Reservations. Aboriginal history. It was part of the reservation of the Cherokee Indians and continued to be until the removal of the Indians in 1837. Remember, the Choctaws were removed in 1831. Or they signed and to go in and get out. Aboriginal dwelling sites are found on the Conoco Creek, locally known as Tate Creek. Some miles in there, later history done. War. Let's see. Yeah, we go. Petty Boy Island. I know the Petty Boy Island was a reservation. Wow. Yeah, we I'm from Pascagoula, right? So we can go to Ship Island, Cat Island, but it's crazy to have those islands set as reservations. We gotta take out to the islands one time. Let's see. History, pharmacy as a business is one of the recent development in the state. The former being deceived, the latter having moved from the reservation. A complete list of tribes is as follows. Oneida. So, my wife from Wisconsin, right? So, it's a bunch of Oneida. We actually live on Oneida Reservation up that way. Everything up there is Oneida Reservation. Honestly, like the football field, all that's it, Oneida. And I do got some pictures and some little, I should have posted it on my little social media and stuff, but I'm actually going back to Oneida Reservation where my wife folk them from at the end of this, closer to the end of this month, going into July, because I gotta be back for another event, going up to about 2-3 weeks. Hopefully it shouldn't be snowing and stuff sometimes, so it should be good. You gonna catch me up there any other time. You gotta follow, which ain't Cherokee. Oh, yeah. Must keep going. Yeah. So just think about it, man. Like these are all tribes that's in Alabama. A complete list of tribes. So they got them 59. You got the Tuscahoma, you got the Choctaw. It's all in Mobile, huh? Let's see. think that's what they mean, where they the county. Yeah, I think that's the county. What I want, what's in Sumter? We got something in Sumter. But the cool said, oh, the Panola. Like South Panola. Get out of here. Hold on. Panola truck. Let's do it. What? Panola, Texas. Find it on Panola. Hold on. I'm gonna look into that because I know we got a South Panola. Because I used to run track against these jokes. South Panola. So you got South Panola. Huh. Okay, whatever. It's good to know. They know. Panola. Sumter County. It's dormant, so it's not Choctaw. Creek Gurney. There's 160 though. 160. Maybe that's cheap name or something. Not sure. Let's see. I'm trying to see. Nah, there's gotta be like a get the Etowah. Yeah, so you got it, you know. Let's go to some more reservation talk. Almost done with man. He remained a little bit. So I already seen that. That's where we start. So that's where we started at. Okay, so yeah, man. It's a wrap with that article. I hope y'all enjoyed that. I do have another article that I wanna, you know what I'm saying, put out, dealing with the stocks of Indians. All right. And what I'm gonna do as a bonus, man, I'm gonna go ahead and just let me see if I can bring that up. Yeah. So I'm gonna start on this one right here, probably on another episode. But I'm gonna list the. I'm gonna find where I find where I got it from, and I'm gonna post it in the description. And that's gonna be the next episode right here. This Indians buy stock, and it just lets you know, like it tells like the classifications, right? And we're gonna get into, and we're sticking to like the 1910 to 1930. I mean, when we try to, you know, do our genealogy, we ain't trying to get down to the, you know what I'm saying, 1700, whatever. You got to go back that far. 1900, right? If you can get it out in the 1850, whatever, that's great. That's a plus. But 1900s, you know what I'm saying, we're good to go, right? But it shows the classification of how some of these tribes are classified with other tribes, and you know, and then they always been like a mixed culture, tricultural people. You know, when you're talking southeastern bands of tribes of Indians, or Aboriginals. You know what I'm saying? However you want to put it. Indians born in another form. But we're gonna go over this. See, they got that Gonfian stock. This is made me spill the beans. You know, my main concern is the Choctaw area. Anything in yeah, we're gonna say that, man. We're gonna say that. So I was just looking over. We're gonna put that back into the in a chat, not chat, but in the description, and we're gonna go back live going through that. So make sure y'all hit that notification bell, man. Next time I go live, I'm gonna go ahead and bust that down. And man, we on a rampage today. You know what I'm saying, doing some lives. And I'm just so glad my baby is asleep right here on my stomach. On daddy's stomach, just knocked out. And you know, sometime going back up in there, man. Just go ahead and give it to him, man. Forget it. We're gonna go ahead. Sometimes just get it to you. We're gonna do the first page, maybe. You do the first page. All right, this is chapter 2. I wonder what chapter 1 is about. I don't even know. They just, you know, my search inquiry brought me directly to chapter 2. I do not know the name of this, where this came from. Let's see. They got some sources down here at the bottom. See, everything wanna lag. Been popping all day. All right. Coextensive with counties of Bronco, so they don't necessarily have Indians by stock and tribe. Table 9. Let's get started. All right, so I don't know where I got this from. I should be able to. It's taking forever now to load up. I'm gonna go through this first page, and I'm gonna go down what they say about Choctaws, and I'm gonna call it quits for this right here. Indians by stock and tribe, right? Tribal organization based on kinship. Blood is universal among primitive people, and for such peoples, the social organization based on kinship or adoption is more significant. It is more significant. Your bloodline is more significant than geographic distribution. Y'all understand that? Cool. Among the American Indians, before they came in contact with the Europeans, tribal organization was highly developed. I don't know if y'all make sure y'all been there with me. It was highly developed. We already have in place a form of government, a form of hierarchy, a form of structure, order. Just peaceful people that is, you know what I'm saying? We on our shit too, you know. Conflicts with the white invaders, and even more the infusion, the mixing of white blood and acceptance of the customs of the economic life of the white people have awakened and in many cases destroyed the tribal organization. The tribal tradition, however, is still an important social bond and great majority of the American Indians, and a classification by tribes is still at least as important as the geographic classification. All right. But I think they're not necessarily one of the same, but they go side. They work together. You got to compare and contrast. You know what I'm saying? You can't throw one out and just, you know, unless whatever fits your narrative. You know what I'm saying? But I leave it all on the table, and and discern from that. Linguistic stocks. On the basis of resemblance between languages, the Indian tribes are grouped into linguistic stocks or families. These linguistic stocks are analogous to the Semitic and Indo-European stocks within the white race, while the languages of the tribe within the stock differ, just as German differs from Russian or English from Greek. Tribes, so, even though, I got that right. Tribes with related languages were probably as remote period related by blood. Okay, if If the language sounds the same, they mean they were closely more related. That's all I'm saying. Although the prevalence of adoption and intermarriage with other tribes has weakened, the tie of blood and also the bond of common ceremonial observances, until there is often little resemblance between tribes of the same stock other than that of the language. So they we got so much mingling and mixing going on, they don't even look the same no more. They don't look the same. You can't tell who you are, right? So when it comes to enumeration time, it is when you get a lot of the misclassifications and stuff. Cause I don't know what you like. You need to be over here. Yeah, you look like you need to be over here, which is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Classifications by stock and tribe on the basis of census of enumeration is very difficult. You cannot play the lookership game back then. Can't play it now, but it's very difficult. Okay, and the results are subject to a considerable margin of error. The popular local designation of Indian tribe does not always correspond with the scientific name. Okay, and the enumerator, who is rarely an ethnologist, could do no better than to give the name by which the tribe was locally known. So even within that era, you could be called something and it really wasn't even you. If this name was not readily identified with one of the recognized tribes, the Indian was necessarily assigned to the miscellaneous group and lost to the tribal classification. That's what we're talking about. Boom. All right, no instructions were given as to the tribal allocation of the Indians of mixed tribal blood. I bet they gave it to the white ones. Anyway, such Indians are probably included in tribes which they prefer to claim or in which they have the reputation of membership. Okay, the tabulation by stock and tribe from the census of 1910 differentiated 52 linguistic stocks divided into 280 tribes. We're talking about one area, y'all. In 1930, for the convenience of tabulation, many of the smaller tribes were thrown together into groups of tribes, reducing the number of tribes in groups to 100. Do any of y'all think that's fair? Whether they talking about the Indian people, whether they talking about the Negro people, whether they talking about some Asian people, whether they talking about some themselves. Y'all feel like that's fair? No, don't call me anything outside of my name or, you know what I'm saying, who I go by, my tribal name, and the number of linguistic stocks to 40. So that's the reason for the classifications, I guess, to make it easier for them to do their numbers. The two schemes of classification may be presented in a tabular form as follows. So, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go. Yeah. So y'all see some of the tribes classification was in 1910. Here's all right. The Pomo stock, Clear Lake. You had this Clear Lake, Little Lake, Lower Lake. But in 1930, you just got Pomo stock. You know, they're not. Man, all these stocks right here, the selection stock, look at different stocks of Indians within that particular stock of people. This doesn't apply to just Indians. This should apply to fucking everybody. Don't you think? Like the different stocks of people, like shit, we got different stocks of black, you know. Shoot. You got different stocks of everybody. So y'all got me on that stuff. Let me see. You see how it detailed to, look at that, all these Alaskan tribes. Oh, aside from the combination of tribes into groups of tribes, only a few changes have been made from the classification used in 1910. Of these few changes, one of the most important is the separation of the Virginia tribes from the Algonquin stock and the combination from the North Carolina Indians into a group designated as Virginia Carolina Indians. This group is of mixed and somewhat uncertain origin. We don't know who you are, so we just gonna place you over here. And in the 1930 classification is not included in any linguistic stock. Another change was the combination of the Lotamians, the Shahaptians, and the Welatamna, the the Walilapians, into the Shawalitans stock. All right, so you know you got that Algonquin style. So let's go on. You got the Delaware, Kickapoo. You got the Shiny. We're gonna there's a whole bunch of these giants. Iroquois. Yeah, they got a Wyandotte. That's in Mississippi. Oh, that's Wyandotte. Yeah, it's a city, town in Mississippi called Wyandotte. Wyandotte what? All right, Choctaw, Choctaw. Let's go to the Muskogee stock. Okay, let's start here. The Muskogees constitute the fifth largest of the Indian linguistic stock in the United States. The early habitat of the Muskogee tribe was in Mississippi. Shout out to the Silk, Alabama, Roll Tide, Western and Southern Georgia, and North Florida. The census of 1930 differentiated four tribes of this stock: the Chickasaw, Choctaw, Creek, and Seminole. In 1910, the Alabama and the Coasati were shown separately, but in 1930 they were tabulated with the Creek. Okay, that's what I mean by Coasati had some Creek things, but they tri-nation of the Creek already. They confederacy already. You know what I'm saying? They have a whole bunch of tribes included in that. So shit, you got Coasati Choctaw people and Coasati Creek people, but guess what they got them as? With the Creek. So Chickasaw, the Chickasaw was the first known to the whites. Chickasaw ain't no Choctaw, they same people, right? But just, you know what I'm saying, because they probably distanced themselves for whatever reason. They might have stayed that way for a little some time, but they still the next door neighbor, brother, and sister, right? They began to move to the west of the Mississippi River early in the 19th century, and in 1855 were given a separate reservation in Indian Territory. Okay, the number enumerated as Choctaw in the 1930 was 4,745, an increase from 4,204 in 1910. Of the population in 1930, the number of Oklahoma was 4,685. Of those, 829 were enumerated in Johnson County, Pontotoc County, and 611 in Bryan County. The Chickasaws are known mainly of mixed blood. The Chickasaws are now mainly of mixed blood. And 24.6% haven't claimed to be full blood in 1930. So if you get a whole nation of people shit, 100 years later, you got about 8 generation of mixing going on after that. You ain't, you descend from the Indian, but you're not necessarily Indian, depending on what you mix with. Now, I believe that's what's going on a lot with black people who, such as myself, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm looking and I'm, and I can't put my situation on all people. And some people already know exactly where put it, point it, and and that's great. But you got some that don't even know where to start. So we're trying to bridge some of the gap, you know what I'm saying, by putting my family out there so that we have a better understanding of his story, right? So that Choctaw, this tribe is the largest of the Muskogee stock, and with the exception of Cherokee, the largest of the 5 civilized tribes, right? So we were the first to assimilate into European ways, the Choctaw, right? Even though the Chickasaw was the first to encounter the Europeans, the Choctaw was the first to lay down. The early habitat of Choctaw was in southern Mississippi and in Alabama. The greater part of the tribe moved to the west, where when their lands were open for white settlement, but a few remained behind. Okay, and I think when we talk about, you know what I'm saying, our people, you got the misclassification. You got not everybody went on the Trail of Tears. A few of us stayed behind, okay, and mixed in with the rest of everybody else that was goddamn in the population. You know what I'm saying? In the community, wherever it was at, we were getting it in. Okay, so the total number enumerated in 1930 was 17,700 bits sales, and increased from 15,917 in 1910. All right, of these 16,641 were in Oklahoma, with the largest numbers in Curtin, Pittsburgh, Bryan, Choctaw, and LaFleur counties. All right, there were also 624 in Mississippi, 100 in Louisiana, and the remainder scattered over 25 other states. Okay, the Choctaw are largely of mixed blood. Y'all Choctaws cannot get around that. You can't get around. There ain't no fool. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a few of y'all. You know what I'm saying? But the majority, of Choctaw don't even, like, they mix with everything. So I ain't gonna say we mix with everything, but they saying some dilute going on right here at 30%, 32%. You know what I'm saying? Full, claim to be full, and that's in 1930. What do you think that number is now? There is a considerable admixture of Negro blood. Okay. Many of the Indians of Muskogee stock acquired Negro slaves. There they go with the Negro slaves before their migration westward, and the descendants of these slaves have remained in close association with the Indian tribes to which the masters of their ancestors belong. But yet we don't reap any of the benefits that's going on in Indian territory through Choctaw. We're trying to get back on it, and so it's the Creek, right? I think Cherokee came through for theirs, you know what I'm saying? But on my paternal side, I have Creek ancestry at Moore, Alabama, but still over there. I think it's in Mobile County. I'm not pretty sure. Let's see. The Creek constituted originally a confederacy rather than a single tribe. So you got a confederacy, you got a bunch of tribes together saying we could do it better You know what I'm saying? Two heads are better than one, right? Their habitat was south and east of that of Choctaws in Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. They moved to Indian Territory between 1836 and 1840. The Alabama of Texas and Louisiana, and the coincided for Louisiana. Two small Muskogee tribes were combined for convenience with the Creek in 1930. So all these became Creek. If you Kushada, you know what I'm saying? Of course, they, you know, Muskogee stock and of Choctaw, right? But they speak coincided, which has been on a census on a federal level associated with Creek, right? So the total number enumerated in 1930, 9,000, let's say. Compared with the 7,341 in 1910. This number in 1910 included 298 Alabama and 98 coincided. So in this instance, they say no coincided could be the people. As a people, not necessarily the language. In 1930, there were 8,607 Creek in Oklahoma, most of whom were in the counties of McIntyre, Hughes, Okmulgee, and Muskogee, Folksy. There were also 880 in Texas, by whom 176 were in Polk County, 134 in Louisiana, most of whom were probably Alabama and coinciding. More than half of the Creek claimed full blood in 1930. The same proportion as 1910. In 1910, there were 565 with Negro blood. So yeah, man, that's gonna wrap it up. You know what I'm saying? This got some more dealings with certain stocks of tribes, Indian populations in the United States. I don't know if you want to get that far into it, but I didn't want to do it, but I'm gonna have to do it. I'm gonna list the link in the description after the video because I gotta find it. I know I can put it in the PDF, but yeah, that's how we're gonna do it, man. We're gonna leave it just like that. And man, I hope y'all enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? I just hopped on, thought I should go ahead and get this out the way, and I actually gave you two gems y'all can mess with. Make sure you click that link over there in the chat. I think the link to the first source that I used and was going through about history of Alabama and Dictionary of Alabama. I was talking about the Aboriginal history of Alabama, man. You can check that out in the chat. Make sure you click that. I'm gonna put that in the description as well. But yeah, we're gonna leave it like that for the day. We got a big day ahead, man. Y'all make sure y'all do your genealogy, find out who you are, find out who you related to, and how that, there's a lot of ways you can benefit off of that. It depends on your purpose and what you want to do with your narrative, all right? But for me, it's for the fam. Of course, we're looking for the land. You know what I'm saying? We trying to break these generational curses. I found the land for my little tribe. You know what I'm saying? A little over 2 acres. You know what I'm saying? And we'll be back on that. I'm gonna give y'all some more content on that. I actually gotta go talk to the land clearing dude who should be hitting me up at any second now. I gotta go over there to the property and we're gonna talk about how we want this land to be cleared. So I'm gonna have the cameras out. I wish I could go live. I probably can, but I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna see if he can be able to put some, give me some input on how some of this stuff go. That I come relay it to y'all. And there you go. We got free game. And that's how we do it right over on the channel, man. So Brother Lawrence, 228, about to get up out this thing, man. Y'all be easy. Peace.